Welcome to the Earth is Ghetto podcast. I am Sid,
And I am Aaron.
and we're just gonna get directly into the mental health check-in. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm proud of myself. Um, Let me tell you something that's powerful about music. Um, it can really heal you. I've been consistent
Absolutely.
with it. I make sure that I have it at least playing in the background every day. It regulates my mind. Since I grew up in an emotional, unstable household, in a very triggering and just strict household, I wasn't allowed to have music playing like that.
Mm-hmm. Especially music you wanted.
Yeah, and I realized that this is kind of like what soothes my mind since it's spinning so fast. So all that to say, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm proud of myself. Music is what my focus is at right now.
Okay. Um, as for me, I am just, more of a continuation from our last episode where it's just basically trying to figure out what I can do next so I can keep myself out of, because right now we know this is a police state and they want this to continue. And the way that it will is by making sure that we don't have access to jobs. So at this rate, I am trying my best to find any and everything I can do to continue to keep the lights on, to continue to keep the gas on, and it sucks because I feel like one of the things that I'm fighting is like that uselessness. You feel stupid. You're like, I don't understand. Like, and it's like you don't realize how much confidence a job gives you. And it's so crazy how we have our self-worth tied to making money. So much of our self-worth is so it's like me trying to deconstruct that in real time, but still also knowing I live in a capitalist society. I have no choice but to make money. It's a line to toe. So, but anyway, that's kind of what I'm going through right now. But anyway,
It makes it more frustrating because you know you have to play the game, even though you know it's a game.
yeah, literally. Like it's crazy to know that it's a game that is rigged for you to lose, but you have no choice but to continue to play it, and it is really disheartening sometimes. So I am just trying to regulate myself through that. Um, and listen, if you like the podcast, I'm gonna start leaving my Cash App and the things inside of the details. Listen, support me so that we can continue to bring more Black queer content to you. But anyway, I digress. Let's get to the very first topic. This is something you put down. So what is this topic about?
Yes, speaking of like our mental health check-in, I did want to start off by having our first topic be how it is time for us to start decentering our parents. Especially, well, I don't know about other generations, but I know my generation especially, it's time for us to decenter our parents because like I talked about in the mental health check, I'm realizing some shit that I still had that wouldn't have allowed me to be consistent in some shit because of my childhood. Yes, I was able to move out of my parents' place, but unfortunately, because I haven't decentered them still in my nervous system and in my mind, it was still making me so stagnant and like I just couldn't move. Sometimes I would question everything when it comes to me doing anything, and I couldn't chase my dreams because of that. Because I would constantly hear my parents' voices in the back of my head, like, you know, you can't be doing this. Now you know that's a waste of time. You could be doing this, you lazy. Like,
Yeah, no, because I feel like we don't even realize this ridiculous amount of pressure that is kind of put on us by parents. And I feel like when you tell people to kind of decenter their parents, I feel like there might be a little confusion as to what that kind of means. And it's like it's decentering their expectations.
yeah, let me be clear. I should have been clear. My apologies. Um, doesn't mean don't love them for whatever reason. What I'm saying is, you're an adult. That's really what it comes down to.
Truly.
And don't let whatever trauma or whatever get to you, especially when you have able been moved out, because that shit can still affect your life. I lost myself for a second because that's all I was thinking about was my childhood, and it affected my relationship just with talking to everyday people. I even forgot how to talk to people because I'm constantly hearing these voices in my head. that I didn't unpack and not let consume me.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I've been meditating because of that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been there because of that. I encourage everyone to meditate.
Absolutely.
Please.
Yeah, no, do, and also, at least in reference to meditation, don't think of it so much as trying to quiet your mind and it be like this wall of silence in your head. That's literally you thinking about nothing. Like, don't do that to yourself. I would suggest you go online and find things that can go ahead and help you relax and kind of move through that way, versus like a lot of people will tell you all kinds of crazy shit and it's not helpful.
Yeah, a lot of people think that meditation has to do with just not thinking about it. It's really just don't let your thoughts consume you. Acknowledge it, but don't let it stay there.
Yeah.
Because that's what was happening to me quite lately, especially last year.
Yeah.
When I was in a huge, deep, dark, depressive state, I just let it consume me and just let it control my life.
Yeah.
And I wanted control of the future too, and that also added to it. And it's like I had to teach myself to be in the present, not saying to not think about the future or whatever is to come, but don't let that, control every aspect of my being. Because then, next thing you know, I'm like, well, I'm feeling sorry for myself. Next thing you know, oh no, bitch, these people got something against me. I'm just being negative. It leads to greater things.
It can seep into different portions of your life, and I think people need to understand you can't achieve your way out of trauma. Just because you moved out doesn't mean you're no longer traumatized.
Yeah.
Like, just because, like, I feel like that's something a lot of us will think that, well, maybe because if I got this good job and I'm making this money, I shouldn't feel this way. Why am I still depressed and I have this and I have that? Like, how is that? Why is that happening? And it's because the only way to go through it is to actually process it. You can't go around it. You have to go through. And Aaron's biggest point is that when you're going through it, a lot of the thoughts that are the most corrosive don't have to live there. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to spread wings and all of a sudden you have like a whole, all of a sudden you have a whole scene of how your life is crumbling. And none of that has happened yet. So I feel like that's one of the biggest points that I hope anybody takes from that. But also in reference to the fact that there's a lot of, especially Black queer people, that need to go no contact with their parents. I don't know if a lot of Black queer kids need to go no contact with their parents forever. But I know that there is a lot of us that are dealing with being misgendered, are dealing with constant disrespect, are dealing with being put in places that we don't want to be, being financially abused. Like, that's something that is absolutely happening. And telling a person who's currently going through that to decenter their parents is a tough fucking ask. So the first thing I would say is survive. But once surviving is over, babe, we got things to fix. It's not your fault that it happened, but it is your responsibility to fix.
I realized I didn't have a choice but to fix it, so soon you'll come to that point and do what you gotta do, girl.
Listen, some people do not come to that point, baby. But I'm very glad that you did.
That's what I meant.
Okay, the next one. This was another one that you put up there. Please let me know.
Yeah, Black women, y'all don't want to dispense with patriarchy like that.
Ooh.
Figure it out. I'm not going to break it down. Oh, well, now you hate Black women. You know who the fuck you are. I'm getting pissed off because the homophobia is on the rise. I keep seeing the homophobia. Also, who the fuck are you calling a punk? Also, watch the sassy shit because we know where that dog whistle comes from. You're not fooling nobody. And y'all are not going to take this well. I'm being very blunt and direct right now because this is the ninth time I kept count that we've had this conversation when we talk about the patriarchy is not made for us as Black folks, Black men. It's not. It wasn't made for you. Number one. So it saddens me and it fucking annoys me when I see black women trying to take pieces of that and then turn around and say, oh my God, the patriarchy. But you want it part-time still because it fits your narrative, because whatever power that gives you, it gives you power to call someone a fag or sassy or whatever.
I'm just...
Or punk. And it's like, do we want to be free or not is my question. And yes, dismantling the patriarchy also means you need to deconstruct that religion. Yes, I said it.
So, there's a lot of pieces of contention that I am seeing from my fellow cisgendered. Live access removed. Your live access will be restored on April 19th. Hateful speech.
Because I'm pointing out homophobia?
Wait, what? Hold on. I will, what
Clip
time
this
is
out.
it? Yeah, I'll clip this out, 11:08 or whatever.
Yeah.
I will clip this out.
11 minutes, yeah.
Yeah,
What?
and it's not even gonna play, you're not even gonna play what it is for me? Okay,
Wow. Let's say, here's a picture.
So.
What? Did I correct me? Get me together, friend. You know me. I'm all about holding myself accountable. Did I say something that was
No,
problematic?
you absolutely did not.
I know it was like,
listen, the notice is unclear. The live does not contain content. Wait, what? That you mentioned the note? Because it doesn't. Submit. The fuck? Okay, so appeal submitted. Okay, anyway.
11-minute mark.
11-minute mark. So, the biggest thing that I want to make sure that I get across to my fellow black cisgendered women. First and foremost, I need you to understand that patriarchy and capitalism wasn't built for anybody but the elite in mind. It works for no one, but it works for you the least. Now, the biggest issue that we're having is that you want to go ahead and adopt a lot of gay lingo while you are consistently discriminating against black gay men, black gay people in general, black trans people, and then you want to go ahead and call them a punk. I'm telling you right now, like, you guys are the same. This is the same group of people who are upset about being called cis. I'm only talking to black women because I am a black woman.
And this is a Black Queer podcast.
And it's a Black Queer podcast. I don't care what the white people are doing.
Right.
They're they're TERFs too. They're this too. Okay, cool. I'm talking to my community. The fuck?
We're not trying to hear that.
All right. And it disgusts me because I see it happen so constantly where I'm seeing y'all misgender the fuck out of people and then still want to do clock it. By the way, I don't know what the fuck this is, but I digress. But y'all still want to say clock it and shade and no tea, no shade and all these other things. But then you would go ahead and tell us that you're going to send your child to a conversion camp if they ever came out as gay. I would beat them if they found out that they were gay.
You would smash a dollhouse on top of their head if you found out, Carisha.
Bro, and I'm saying, like, but then y'all are still the same ones to get upset over cisgendered, which is a medical term. Cisgender, it's just you agree with the biological sex you were assigned as. That's literally all it means.
Why do y'all hate prefixes so much? Tall woman, black woman, cis woman, small woman, like, why is that bother? But we know why.
Absolutely.
We know why. Mm-hmm. But, sorry, continue.
No, we know exactly why. Because as far as you're concerned, the fact that there was ever a prefix before your gender is insulting to you because you use trans as a slur. Mm-hmm. So as far as you're concerned, cis must be a slur. Mm-hmm. Because in your mind, trans is always a slur. Duh.
Negative connotation is what y'all add to it.
Like.
And you don't want to feel othered.
And
because you know that you see us as freaks, as weird.
Mm-hmm. which means you literally use trans as a slur and to other them. That's literally what this is. It's not, I feel like it's kind of crazy that that's not something that anybody is able to reckon with. No one wants to have a real conversation about, and it is super fucking annoying. I cannot hold you, because then let me tell you something. These are some of the same black cis women who will go ahead and call Aaron the F slur, but then go ahead and be like, oh, you're not standing up for black women when all of these horrific things happen to us. Like, this is first and foremost, you need to understand that our politic doesn't change despite who likes us or who doesn't. We will always be there for anybody who is oppressed. And that is whether they like us or not. You don't have that same politic. This is the reason why we can go ahead and protest ICE and be like, calling ICE on anybody is fucked up. Oh, well, these Latin people have said the N-word. Okay, that's fucked up, but so is this. The one doesn't negate the other. Like, one doesn't mean that I no longer fight for the other. What are we talking about? Especially since black people are also getting picked up. I guess we all, Anyway, I digress. Anyway, sorry.
Black Americans, especially, since y'all want to make sure that y'all are I guess y'all are the most important out of all the other black folks around the world. That don't have to worry about a bomb getting dropped in them at any random moment.
No, for real. And I feel like it's just super unfortunate that we live in a time where this constant double standard is not pointed out because we're talking about another oppressed class. We would never say that black women are not an oppressed class. But for us to go around being like, you can't go ahead and oppress other people who are more oppressed than you is insane fucking work. You have to know what you're doing. And also know that your femininity can be snatched away from you at any point in time. Mm-hmm. They've been doing it since the inception of quote-unquote feminism, where Susan B. Anthony said, I would rather give my right arm than fight for the vote of the Negro. All right. Anyway.
Period. Wake it up, friend.
I'm just like, you're not about to gaslight me.
Yeah. That's the favorite thing to do.
It is.
Because you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
For us to go back and forth and be like, oh, well, now you hate black women. That's fucking crazy. What I'm saying
this
is...
benefits all of us. This benefits you and me. You calling me the F slur is not going to save you.
I promise you.
From the patriarchy. It strengthens it.
It literally does. Because the
white... hiding behind your colonizer book is not going to save you to justify your hatred towards me.
And white supremacy does not work unless there are black and brown people willing to uphold it. Patriarchy does not work unless there are women who are willing to uphold it. What I'm saying is you're upholding the patriarchy and you want to go ahead and pretend that you don't know. And I'm letting you know, even if you say you don't, deep down you do. Because it's fucking bigotry at the end of the day. And bigotry comes from what? White supremacy, my love. I don't know what you want. I'm not going to go back and forth with anybody about it. But the one thing that I will go ahead and end it with is you're not going to gaslight me. I'm not stupid. My eyes are open.
Speaking of pygmishas, Usher and Beat 'em Down Brown have announced their joint tour together. Coming soon to an abuse near you. What saddens me, speaking of part-time patriarchy, is I'm seeing a lot of cishet black women and cishet black folks just posting their Insta stories, how they bought their ticket. Oh, I got my ticket to the domestic violence concert. Did you get yours? And y'all just celebrating that shit, but y'all would turn around and say how, oh my God, the patriarchy, oh my God, men need to do this. Black men, and they are the weakest link. Black men are the weakest link. But black women, I need y'all to hold on to that and not participate in that by saying, oh, well, Usher and Chris Brown, y'all just hate black men. And that was so long ago. Mind you, we have a yearly record of everything that this man has done.
I'm sorry. I can't even agree with that anymore. We're both the weakest link at this point. I'm sorry.
And even if it was just the Rihanna situation, that's enough.
Because there's so much ignorance that is coming from black women. And I just want to talk to you divestors for a second.
And I think the reason why I said that, Sydney, is because I know how pastoral I am. Yes, I'm not binary, but I look like a damn cisgender black man. I know that. I have privilege. I benefit from the patriarchy still.
Yes.
So that's why I didn't want to say it like that, because
Right.
I know that I still have privilege under this system.
No, absolutely. And we're not going to pretend that black men don't have a
But
privilege.
you said it, so I'm glad you said
Yeah,
it.
no, seriously. No, I'm really getting very sick and tired of when it comes to certain black women, and that's why I wanted to talk to divestors. The way that they talk about male rape victims, you are fucking disgusting. Where you're like, oh, now you know how it feels? Would you ever say that to anybody who was like, what? Yo, it's fucking crazy, bro. And it's like, this is how I know that you just want to hold the whip. This is how I know that you just want to be the ones in power. And everybody's like, oh, listen to a black woman, this with a black woman, so on and so forth. I'm telling you right now, you and your respectability politics, you and all of the bullshit that you're saying right now, especially the way that you talk down about black men and then say that white men are the answer, is fucking insane to me. There was a black woman who was just murdered by her white fiance.
And folks are already trying to say, well, that's not, he was such a good man, and he wouldn't do that. Girl, of course you would say that. Like,
no, and then she was also talking shit about black men. Why is that different from the black men who will talk shit about white women and then they go ahead and die by the hands of that white woman? Why is that?
So quick to defend whiteness. Oh, he wouldn't do that. That's a nice, fine man. Young man in America.
What?
That's an American man. American guy.
No, the American guy. No, seriously. I can honestly say I have been so disgusted. And I feel like people don't realize, did you know that rape is actually defined by penetration? Yes. Rape is defined by penetration. Otherwise, it would be defined as sexual assault, sexual misconduct, etc. So this means that when young boys are raped by women, which, by the way, a couple teachers just got arrested. They were fighting over a 13-year-old boy. It was two adult white women teachers who were fighting over a 13 or 14-year-old boy. I'm not even fucking joking with you.
Disgusting.
I'm sick and tired of women predators being spoken of differently than male predators. I don't want when I talk about a female predator, you then decide to override the conversation with how much men rape. Girl, we know. We're talking about this right now.
I just made him into a better man.
No,
Because y'all.
Listen. Isn't that why Boosie went ahead and hired a female escort to go ahead and sexually rape? You know what?
It's like y'all be normalizing this shit.
And this is the thing. When we talk about rape victims, I feel like we're just in general so callous and so fucked up about it in general, right? But to see women who we are always seeing as victims of these things go ahead and be as callous and fucked up as the men have been to them is gross to me. Is that the way you feel like you get back at it? My love, if you want revenge, let's go find that nigga. Like, no, look, my love, I need us to direct our hatred who it needs to be directed at. And that is at anybody who would violate a child. This is at anybody who would violate a person. Period. So when Aaron's like, you don't really give a fuck about the patriarchy. You are so quick to weaponize it against a male victim and be like, oh, aren't you supposed to be all big and strong and blah, blah, blah. So, girl, do you want to change this shit or not? No, come on, man. No,
I guess since most of y'all cherry pick from that book, so I guess y'all will cherry pick this too, because it's all connected, but y'all ain't ready for that.
No.
Who said that?
I have been so disgusted at seeing the patriarchal rhetoric that I am seeing cisgendered women go ahead and push when it feels good to them at the moment, but then wanting to get upset at misogyny. And I'm like, my love will never be free because you can't stop straddling the fence for your own fucking comfort. And that's the truth.
But who's going to be the boys, Sydney? Who's going to be the boys? Men used to go to war. Oh my God.
This nigga's talking to me about his feelings. Listen, we're not about to go ahead and pretend that men can't go ahead and weaponize their feelings, but I also am not about to pretend that a lot of women who are very, very steeped into the patriarchy are not trying to hear any feelings coming out of some niggas. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about all women.
I stopped saying that. Y'all can think what y'all want to think. I really don't give a fuck. Same like when I talk about white people, when I talk about cops, when I talk about men, when I talk about y'all don't have the range to understand the systems of oppression. I'm not going to give you the luxury of not all of y'all or not all cops or not all white people. I've been stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Because you know what the fuck I'm talking about, and it's all of y'all until it's none of y'all. Bloop.
All right.
Next case.
Okay, so the U.S. naval blockade. So let's go ahead and read this article right here, which I'm going to make much bigger because a bitch is a little blind. There you go.
This orange turd has lost his mind.
As per usual. So, Iranian authorities say a continued United States naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz could end the current pause in fighting as mediators try to secure a diplomatic solution. If the aggressor and terrorist U.S. seeks to continue its illegal action of imposing a naval blockade in the region and to create insecurity for Iran's commercial vessels and oil tankers, this action by the U.S. will constitute a prelude to a violation of the ceasefire, said Major General Ali Abdullahi, the commander of Qatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The powerful armed forces of Iran will still allow any exports or imports to continue in the area of the Persian Gulf, the Sea of Oman, and the Red Sea. Abdullahi, whose organization has been running the war and influencing political decision-making, was quoted as saying by state media on Wednesday. The comments come after the U.S. military said its naval blockade has completely halted economic trade going into and out of Iran by sea and will continue amid the 2-week ceasefire declared a week ago. U.S. President fucking Velveeta Voldemort told Fox that the war is close to over and hinted at a second round of face-to-face talks with Iran and Pakistan in the coming days. But U.S. media has also reported that thousands more American soldiers have been sent to the Middle East on warships. Vice President Couchfucker is expected to lead the U.S. delegation if a second round of talks does materialize, but no date has been finalized. Pakistan's military chief, Field Marshal Asim Munir, and Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi arrived in Iran on Wednesday as part of the Pakistani delegation after numerous messages were exchanged with the U.S. through mediators since the Iranian delegation returned from Islamabad on Sunday. The goal of any potential future talks will be to fully cease the war and realize the rights of Iran, in addition to lifting the sanctions imposed on the country. Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesman Esmail Baghi told the reporters. So I just want to go ahead and just pause real quick. So I'm going to be perfectly honest. I've been hearing the way that certain people have been talking about this war, right? And again, I only want to talk to black people. Let me see. Let me see the bottom front. Because I feel like y'all not hearing me. Okay, so black people, the ones that I am caring about, right? There is a actual specific reason that I want to talk to you, and it's because you are being fed so much misinformation that it's actually making my head hurt. Like, for instance, I just saw on the Joe Budden podcast, which, by the way, which is where it's where stupid niggas come to breed. Aside from Dark Lamont Hill, you know what I mean?
Oh, how does he do it?
I don't know.
More power
I don't
to
know.
you, sir.
I truly have no idea. And they were talking about the Iran war. And while Mark was talking, Joe Budden actually decided to play what the Iranian prime minister or whoever is the leader of the war, maybe the general, I don't fucking know, what he was saying. And listen, he was saying that we've been preparing for this since the Iraq War. And Joe Budden, I think you were here when I was listening to the clip, and then Joe Budden literally said, that doesn't sound like somebody who's just trying to protect themselves and make sure they're safe. It doesn't.
What? Yeah,
After,
I remember he said that, don't you? I was like, what?
After the Iraq War, a war that should have never gone to Iraq in the first place?
Over 2 million innocent. 2 million.
Children. Innocent men and women who had nothing to do with this war. Nothing. And you didn't think that was going to radicalize anybody? You didn't think seeing their family be killed by American soldiers was going to do nothing?
And what's funny is they really think that this is 2002 and we're just going to fall for the okie doke again and saying the same shit that they said. No,
It's
baby,
true.
this is 2026. We know what false flags are.
It's true.
We know that we can't trust Western media at all. We
In the
know
slightest.
that this has all been a part of the Greater Israel Project.
Like, look at the way that y'all are flocking to Chris Brown and fucking Usher concerts. Usher literally sat in your fucking face and said, I don't want to remember P. Diddy like that. He helped me, bitch. And y'all said, okay, what? What? I am, how do I put this? I'm so disappointed. I'm so deeply disappointed to see the black church, to see black men and black women in droves. First of all, some of the black women talking about we're a part of the 92%. I need everybody to sit your ass down somewhere because we're all still living this hellscape. What did that vote do for you? Not shit? Okay, cool. Maybe we want to keep on moving forward because that's not helpful right now because we're all still living this shit.
But Kamala had a weird laugh.
Oh my God.
Y'all love saying that. I'm like, she too said that Iran was a target.
Yep.
She said that she wanted the most lethal military. Hello? Are we forgetting?
So you guys just would have been at
It's
brunch.
almost like foreign policy is bipartisan. It's almost like uniparty when it comes to Israel. It's almost like Democrats and Republicans are bought out and paid for by Israeli lobbyists.
AIPAC? Oh God. Sorry.
It's almost like we don't mind colonialism if we would have done it the right way through Congress. What do you think the term neoliberalism is? So Trump basically said, if I can't have the oil, no one can. So he did this U.S. naval blockade.
And
And China said, bet, bitch, you're not going to touch us. We're going to keep going through.
Yep. And
they went through.
Did they?
They did. China, China said, we are warning the U.S. not to do anything. We have a long-term deal with Iran when it comes to oil. We're going to continue as, what's it called? What they say?
As business as usual.
Business as usual, bitch. Because,
Wait.
bitch, we're China, and you're not. I strongly advise you not to do
They
anything.
said, I'm putting my dick on it.
Because Iran is taking the American dollar is collapsed, by the way. That's why when y'all be like, I'm trying to get this bag, I'm trying to be rich someday, you can kiss all that shit goodbye because the US dollar is going. But anyways, let's be honest, the petrodollar is done. Either Trump has to surrender, the US has to surrender, or escalate. There is no, we're going to take over your regime anymore. Iran has been preparing for this for decades and decades. It's done. So, Iran said, bitch, we're going to take Chinese, is it Chinese yuan? Is that what it's called? The Chinese dollar is called yuan?
I believe it's something like that. I'm not, but please correct us if.
Please correct us.
Yeah, if that's
the
not
Chinese
correct.
dollar pretty much
Yeah.
is what, because the US dollar used to take over all of this shit when it came to oil.
Yep.
Now, since BRICS has started,
Yep.
people coming up with their own currency system, that's why Barack Obama did what he did in Libya to Gaddafi. Because of it's all about oil and regime change, because they wanted to back their shit by the gold standard, gold. Mm-hmm. And America said, bitch, we can't have that. It needs to come.
I mean, these things are just the truth, and it sucks because we live in an era of true disinformation. We live in an era where us telling you to Google is not enough, and I'm well aware. I understand that this has infiltrated all areas, okay? I know that this is not a lie, okay? But that also means you gotta step your pussy up. It means that means that you need to go out of your way to research differently. Get a VPN, borrow somebody else's. Go ahead and see what international news is actually saying. And these are the things that we do to be able to even bring you news, because we know that CNN is bullshit. We know. Well, obviously Fox is bullshit. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Well, Fox is just like goddamn fairy tales. But
Fairy tales. What the Klan news?
You know what I'm saying? Like literally, like, have you seen my hood? That's one of the reality shows that they have on Fox News. Like, let's be real. Find your Proud Boy. Pick him out of a lineup. Like, let's be honest. That's what Fox. You know what I mean? That's what Fox News is. But
Proud Boy is crazy.
Sorry, I'm just saying.
That's hilarious.
But no, it's just like, I feel like people need to understand that no matter what is going on, we cannot rely on the excuse of we don't know better. Learn it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to tell you to pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I'm talking about the information is out there. I need you to learn it. Mm-hmm. I need you to understand why you go on Indeed and you apply to jobs and don't get no answers, because there are actual companies putting out dummy jobs for you to apply to just so they can go ahead and build up their own numbers as recruiters. I'm not saying this for my health. As a previous recruiter, see a couple episodes before. Okay? But anyway.
I need y'all to ask yourselves, why do you think that food is a privilege and shouldn't be a right? Why do you think that? Where does that come from? Do the research as to why you believe that, oh, it's okay to keep voting for the lesser of two white supremacists. It's okay. Water, it needs to be paid for. Why do you think the way you think? Ask yourself where all these things come from.
Tell me why you think that you shouldn't be able to use food stamps for cake or candy or soda. Ask yourself why you need people who are low income to perform poverty in a specific way for you in order for you to care about their well-being. Tell me why you're so bought and sold by this entire government, because you actually drank the Kool-Aid at the end of the day. You did. And it's really unfortunate. It's really fucking sad. And I hope you know that doesn't give you the right to tell anybody about shit. Because you don't even have the basic decency, the basic empathy to be like, what's wrong with somebody buying candy? Does that make you... Are you the Grinch? Are you actually the Grinch? All right.
Well, I believe if you don't work, you don't eat.
Why?
Because, like, we all gotta get the food somehow. Someone gotta get the food.
Oh,
for us.
see.
Someone gotta get it and do these things for. Mind you, just spewing out propaganda, shit that you've been told. Just spewing out all these lies. Y'all fell for the okie doke. It's unfortunate.
You don't even realize that food stamps, if you actually see how much money comes out of your taxes individually for food stamps, that actually ends up being $45 a year. That's how. Do you know how much you pay to Medicare that you're not able to use? Because God help you, you actually reach 65. Do you know how much money comes out for just all kinds of bullshit that no one can account for? But the $48 a year that's coming out, that's gonna be the issue. That's the problem. I'm so sick of you. You are really trying to pretend that you are better, and you're letting me know that you're evil. You're Ebenezer Scrooge, my nigga. You've decided that children don't deserve sweets. They don't deserve candy. They don't deserve. And some of you are actually pro-life. Do you believe that so many of you are pro-life who are saying, I don't want to have to pay for food stamps? Sorry, bitch. I thought you were pro-life. You don't want the children to eat?
They're pro-birth.
Say it again.
Pro-birth.
Oh, say it one more time.
Pro-birth.
Okay.
Pro-control.
You just don't want to actually let us know that you don't give a fuck about people. It just makes you feel good to stand on somebody's soapbox and be like, I am morally correct and I've got God behind me. If God is real, and if God is also good.
And that's how I know y'all full of shit, because let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck if that nigga real. Prove to me that he's all good, all loving, all compassionate, these things. Y'all know that shit. That's why you're kind of delusional. But that's another conversation, girl.
It's okay. We gonna get to our last topic. Okay, listen. So now we are going to play a video real quick, which I was really happy that this particular creator had so much to say, and the way that she connected the Pooh Shiesty to the warehouse fires. And I was just like, well done. Brava.
Period. I personally feel like that wasn't the right way to do things.
So I was talking to my fiance about what bothers me about this Pooh Shiesty situation and the way people are talking about it. And he made the really great connection to Pooh Shiesty to these warehouse fires that are happening. So I'm going to connect the dots here because I feel like more people need to understand what violence and protection actually mean in this day and age. So walk with me. There are only 989 people who are not at risk of some type of abject poverty or homelessness in this country. The majority of people in this country, the 99%, are existing paycheck to paycheck. And that 99% contains more people than you would think. More people than it would be, that would be projected to you on a day-to-day basis on social media, the news, or whatever. There are multiple places in this country where being homeless is illegal, and that number grows by the day. How does someone become homeless? By not being able to pay their rent. How are they not able to pay their rent? If they lose their job, or if the job they have is not paying them enough to subsist. As of right now, the minimum wage federally is $7.25. It has been $7.25 at least my entire life. I was born in 1998. And even $15 is now not enough for a universal basic income to afford a one-bedroom apartment in most major metropolitan areas, and starting to be in many rural or suburban areas. $15 is what the governor of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, just passed a bill to increase the minimum wage to. But economists say that the figure that minimum wage actually needs to be in order for people to exist and have shelter, and not just major shelter, not being able to buy a home, I'm talking about a one-bedroom apartment. That number is now $30-ish an hour. $30 an hour is $60,000 a year. So as right now, $60,000 a year is the poverty line, no matter where you are in America. And the 13th Amendment outlawed slavery except for the punishment of a crime. If homelessness is a crime, then what you've done is you've lowered the threshold for what it means to be able to not even profit, but just subsist off of your labor in a society where, again, there are only 1% of people who are not at risk of being in abject poverty after 1 to 6 months of not being able to pay their bills. For some people, that's as low as 2 weeks. So the threat of higher wages is a threat on freedom itself. That's the bottom line. And that is the line that the young man who set fire to that warehouse in California was thinking about. That's where he was. He said, okay, you're paying me $30,000 to $45,000 a year in California, mind you, to work at this warehouse that holds $650 million worth of value. And you can't pay me more. That means that holding this building is more important than the value on my freedom, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And that is a problem. And that's why fire happened. That is not the decision of one person. It is a chain of people, because corporations own warehouses. But corporations are made up of boards of directors. They're made up of CEOs and CFOs and level 1 leaders and VPs and district managers and area managers, and that whole middle manager screen that trickles down into the person who is directly above that person making $45,000 a year. And every person above that has a shared vested interest in making sure that this person at the bottom only makes that $45,000. And based on the narrative and the way that things are going right now, it would seem that people are more upset at the person here for getting rid of the warehouse because people would lose their jobs. These people would lose their jobs. But they're not upset about the fact that this person is about to quite literally lose their ability to subsist as a free individual in our society. Neglecting the fact that the decision to pay that person a poverty wage, an unlivable wage, is an economically and politically violent choice that is being made. So at the same time, we in this community are having a conversation about a young man from Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee is one of 5 Midwestern places I can think of off the top of my head that is a place where Black people were allowed to subsist and build something of their own. And when Black folks seemed like they were getting a little too hot trot, a little too lucrative, a little bit too progressive, the powers that be were there to knock it down a peg. If you want to understand how important it is that Memphis is the center of this story, I need you to understand that Memphis right now is having its water poisoned by AI data centers. And Memphis is where Martin Luther King Jr. had his head off for fighting for the rights of working people and higher wages. If you want to understand how to center this conversation, it's the fact of what MLK Jr. was doing when he was taken off this earth at the Lorraine Motel. I digress. So, circling this back, you have a young man from Memphis who, in an attempt to get himself and his family out of abject poverty, goes and signs a recording contract with another Black man, this one out of Atlanta, Georgia. That man has a reputation of the people who sign contracts with him ending up 6 feet under or behind 6 feet of bars and concrete. But if he's the only one handing out opportunities and you need to feed your people, by all means, it is what it is. So you take that opportunity thinking that it's going to be relatively lucrative for you. And it looks like it is. It really looks like it is. But then something happens. That young man from Memphis ends up incarcerated. And when he gets out, he's wondering where his money is from his likeness and his art while he's been incarcerated. And that man from Atlanta tells him, what money? What money? And that man from Atlanta is hiding behind the plausible deniability of that contract that was signed in the pursuit of getting out of abject poverty. Exploitation becomes an existential threat. And so that man from Memphis went to go interpersonally handle that existential threat. And you all have the gall to get on this here internet and act like you don't understand it. Well, of course, the reason why you don't understand it, you're used to having to lick the boot from underneath it. But I think there's an interesting thread. I think that there's a synchronicity here. Now, I'm not telling you how to think. I'm not telling you what to do. That's not the point of this. What I just want to point out is that there is a common thread of how we are going to respond to threats to our existence. And we've had the luxury over the last 125, 150 years of not having to be faced with that existential threat on a day-to-day basis. But we have been threatened by that same system this entire time. And unfortunately, too many of us have gotten accustomed to licking the boot from underneath it, and I think it's high time that stops. I also want you to think about what type of system you're trying to save here. Because if it is one that, regardless, is going to put you on a plantation, whether that be a physical plantation where you are picking strawberries, or an industrial plantation where you are packing boxes, or if it's a creative plantation where you are producing art under predatory contracts, we have to think about what this means, what the implications of that are for not just ourselves, but for our communities and the people around us. Because contrary to what Michael Render likes to say, there is no such thing as compassionate capitalism. There is no such thing. I'll say it again. There is no such thing as compassionate capitalism. And people who believe that there is do not understand that the end game of capitalism is there's only one man standing, and that man is not going to be you. That man is not going to be you. Have you ever actually finished a game of Monopoly? I have. And what's interesting is at the end, the person who won, who has bankrupted all the other players, has nothing else to do but hop around the board by himself. Nothing else to contribute there. That's a problem. I'd also like to say I need you to be careful about who you are getting your North Star for your praxis from. Andre 3000 says in a song, one of my favorite songs, I live by the beat like you live check to check. If you don't move your feet, then I don't eat, so we like neck to neck. So these people who are amassing material gains, money, property, cars, this, that, and the third, are selling you a vision and an image of something that you have to buy in order for them to get to that point. And when those people get to that point and they decide that they are going to trait and they are going to align themselves with the systems that are oppressing you on a day-to-day basis while also asking for your income in order to feed into their lifestyles, you have to take a serious look at what's going on here. Because all of this is really cute until you realize that you're being bought and sold. You're being bought and sold.
She ate that up. She ate this video up.
Listen, when I saw that, I was just like, girl,
Yeah.
shout out to that creator. Because, well, first, thoughts.
Thoughts. It kind of just goes back to what we talked about, I believe, if not the last episode, the one before. Talking about Jay-Z and how the reason why I consider him to be dangerous is because we use him as like a prime example of what it means to black success or black excellence. But where does that come from? In the name of what? Capitalism? When we know that we were and are still capital.
Yep. Absolutely.
So that's why him saying things like, oh, well, that's dangerous. To call me a capitalist, that's like calling me the N-word. It's like, damn. You know? We really have to think about what is the purpose of all of this shit when it comes to, oh, I'm trying to get the bag, money, Mr. Krabs. We have to unpack, how can I say it? Hear me in.
I feel like there's a lot of things to unpack, but one of the biggest issues is our relationship to money and how it makes us feel. I feel like we are sold this dream, which is why there are so many people who are trying to defend billionaires, because they have brainwashed us into believing we could be those billionaires one day. And a lot of times you don't realize that you're fighting from a pauper's stance. You are being sold a dream by a snake oil salesman who's saying just go ahead and drink this Kool-Aid. Go ahead and read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Read the 48 Laws of Power. Read every fucking green book that you possibly can, and you too will be successful. And I feel like,
Forex.
but bro, oh my God, Jesus Christ, crypto, Jesus Christ. But like, it is so sad to see us being pulled like puppets, as people have us sacrifice our bodies. Shout out to the military. Our minds. Shout out to the military.
Because that's what they get you.
But again, our bodies. Shout out to Amazon Warehouse. And by the way, I just also want to say, Amazon Warehouse, Amazon has been basically a modern slave driver for many, many years. I told you I used to work for Amazon, right? So when I worked for Amazon, when I say I had like a little counter, I was walking about 5 miles a night, at least, right? There were so many people around me who said, oh no, girl, I don't even go to the bathroom no more. I just bought Depends. I'm not joking. I would, after all night, especially because I was not used to that kind of vigorous activity, okay? I would go ahead and get home. And I remember one of the first nights I got out the car and I collapsed because I didn't realize that my legs had immediately fallen asleep as I was driving myself home. So recently, at one of the Amazon warehouses, I believe it might have been in Idaho or Iowa. I can't remember.
I think Iowa.
It was, yeah, I think it was Iowa. Somebody died on the line. And what they didn't tell you was that the supervisor was sobbing when she told everybody to go back to work.
Do you know how fucked up that is?
And then you want to tell somebody that that gentleman who went ahead and burned down all of that product deserves life in prison. Life?
Life.
Apparently he has no priors. Apparently he's never done anything. Like, so...
Meanwhile, y'all defending cannibalistic pedophilic billionaires who don't have to worry about getting shit or nothing, going to prison. They are still walking around controlling the world. And y'all don't give a shit. But when it comes to someone who's standing up against this machine, this system, oh, he's a problem. He could have done this. That's not what you need to do. It's other ways to do it. They don't give a fuck about your No King's parades.
They really don't. You and your frog costumes are not doing anything. Anything. And then you want to get upset at the people who you would like to label as tyrannical. The people that you want to label as just radical, who are literally asking for things that people have in other countries as rights. These third world countries that just are nowhere near as sophisticated as you, are still has more humanity than you do because they at least feed their citizens.
You will shit on this person for going against the system that is hurting all of us versus be upset as to, bitch, your taxes are paying for Israel or settler colonies to have universal health care, free education, subsidized housing. They're paying for that. You don't mind that. They got you. You're programmed.
100%. You're more upset that Alex Peretti brought a gun to that protest, even though he never put his hand on it, he never pulled it out. You're more upset about that than a bunch of people kidnapping your neighbors, because as far as you're concerned, they were never supposed to be there. Because it's your America. This is why people say you're a recessive gene. It's that type of thinking. That is why. I just want to put that out there. That's literally why. Whew. Anyway.
All I can say is, as we close this, now's not the time to point fingers at people who have no power as the reason for your problems.
Third party voters, you love to say that they're the reason that we're in this mess as if Harris wasn't going to do the same thing but make it look prettier.
She said it so many times.
No one was
but
listening.
Hey, girl boss, black girl magic. So it's okay. Because, bitch,
you're gonna black girl magic genocide?
We're gonna put some rainbows on them drone strikes. On them we're gonna put #BLM on that missile.
Black Lives Matter. We're gonna go.
It's like, come on, y'all.
Literally.
Wake up.
Literally. Oh my goodness. Well, I just want to say, as per usual, I want to thank every single person who ever comes into any of these lives. Thank you for any of your comments. I really want more of them. And I also want to make sure that y'all know that if you guys want to hear a certain topic, please speak up. There's a reason why we have our comments open so that we can talk about the things that you want to listen to. But at any rate, please just remember that being queer is African, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye, hoes.
Peace.